Sam Pirozzolo back with Frank Morano, and we're going to talk a little bit about politics on Staten Island. And so I want to begin I think I begin them all, but let me begin this conversation by saying that for decades, on a national level, on a state level, on a New York City level, and on a local level, the Democratic Party has been signing up Staten Islanders at the Staten Island Ferry for years. And people always say that, well, the demographics of Staten Island is changing. That may be true, but the Republican Party is doing, and that I have seen, and I could be wrong, but I have seen them doing zero to say, hey, there is another choice other than being a Democrat. Why don't you join the Republican Party? So I think that we're paying for that. We've lost the congressional seat. We've got Diane Savino's chief of staff announcing he's going to run for Nicole's assembly seat. So we may lose another Republican seat. We lost the district attorney seat, to a Democrat. We have Steve Mattio's seat coming out. We have the borough president seat coming up. So the Democratic Party has done years and years and years of growth. We have intentionally or unintentionally done zero. What do you think is going to happen? Well, first of all, what do you think about the Republican Party's complicitness in losing these seats?
Well, I think certainly overall last year was not a great year for the Republican Party, losing the surrogate race, which I thought they were going to win, and certainly losing Dan Donovan's congressional seat. I think the chairman's focus has largely been, maybe because he's an attorney, on the judiciary, and the fact that they were able to win 2 state Supreme Court seats, that I think gives them a little shot in the arm.
So I'm going to back off on that, because it's not that we won those seats. We found out that the other team didn't file properly, right? So it's not like we won the seats. But we eliminated the opponents.
I feel like if that was the Republican chairperson engaging in that degree of incompetence, you would have been all over them for doing it. So it goes to show that at least they were smart enough to look and to challenge it, and even after losing in court, continue with that appeal. But so in terms of what I see, I think certainly, it's no secret the North Shore is heavily Democrat, the South Shore is heavily Republican. So that leaves the battlegrounds, the Mid-Island and the island-wide races, right? So with DA, I don't even know that the Republicans have a candidate for DA this year, which I think is a shame, not because...
Well, so that'll bring me to a subtopic there. Why would a candidate want to be the Republican candidate for district attorney when my feeling is your own party is not going to support you? Who wants to go through that?
Well, I think one of the things that we're seeing is the fact that political party organizations have so many fewer tools in their arsenal. It used to be, when there was a lot of patronage jobs to be given out and other little goodies that could be given away, if you were to sort of take one for the team and run in a race that maybe you're not likely to win, maybe they'd give you something. Maybe they'll give your brother a job. Maybe they'll say, you'll be first in line to be a judge one day. The political parties, I think, have, and I think it's a good thing because I favor doing away with patronage positions. Aside from the Board of Elections, they have no other patronage plums to give away. You're also seeing the traditional role of the political parties being replaced by social media and money. So I think the parties as an organization are much less powerful. I know that Chairman Brendan Lantry, and he's a friend of mine in the interest of full disclosure.
And he's a good guy.
I know he did work hard to try and run someone against McMahon, but they couldn't find someone willing to run against an incumbent that was going to be well-funded and had a high degree of name recognition. So to your point, why would you run? So I think the fact that they have a difficult time finding challengers, both parties, in districts where they're not likely to win, that's not a great thing for the voters, because you want every election to be competitive, and you want every candidate putting forward the best vision for their constituents. Okay. So I think there's a good chance that. So I think Trump wins in 2020, Staten Island, certainly.
Oh, without a doubt, right?
So I think if the Republican running for Congress at this point, I know Nicole Maliotakis is running. I've heard some other people talk about.
You're talking coattails.
I think that they're going to be in a good position to take back the congressional seat, and I think probably, I don't know who they're going to end up running for Nicole's seat. I think the coattail effect will help the Republican running in that seat as well. But beyond those 2 seats, I think it's anybody's guess.
Right. So what about the other thing that I'll say that goes on in Staten Island and the Republican Party? Is it, so when my friend Michael Riley just got elected to the New York State Assembly, and at his swearing-in ceremony, Joe Borelli gave him the 10 commandments of what to do, not to do really as a politician. And one of them was not to run against fellow Republicans. or don't make waves, don't covet somebody else's job, which, kind of makes me laugh, right? But don't covet somebody else's job. On Staten Island, it has been a golden rule to the detriment of the party: don't you dare primary an elected Republican.
Well,
we will ruin you.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing in both parties, and probably more so in the Republican camp, is at least recently and probably historically, the parties have been controlled by the elected officials themselves, right? So when that's the case, obviously, the elected officials are going to create a party atmosphere that helps them, right? That's only natural. I don't see that changing anytime soon. But with the Riley victory, had the Republican Party not endorsed Riley, had they backed one of the other two candidates running or someone else, I think Riley still would have won.
We said that on the show.
Yeah, I remember that.
We did the breakdown of the election night, and Riley had it.
So
he wasn't even running, he got more votes.
I think what you're seeing to some extent, and Vinny Ignazio, when he ran in a three-way primary for that same assembly seat in a Republican district, the party didn't endorse anybody. So I think what you're seeing again is an example that the party organization means less than ever. Look at the Democratic example in the surrogates race. They endorsed Anthony Catalano for surrogate. Tatone still won not only the primary but the general election. I think the party organizations are virtually meaningless at this point.
Well,
even the minor parties.
I can't disagree with what you say, but basically you're on your own.
Exactly. Everyone running for office with any party, you should not expect a helping hand from anybody.
And that's true. And I knew that going in.
But
too.
if you win,
what you
look
should
like
not, no. What you should not expect is people in your party to work to your detriment.
Well, certainly not.
And I'll say that happens on both sides.
Well, one of the good things about Staten Island governmentally has also become a poor thing politically if you're looking to run against an incumbent. Staten Island, because we have to work a lot harder to get our fair share, both from City Hall and Albany, has created these incredible bipartisan and tripartisan working relationships. And one of those things, whether it's in Albany, the City Council, or Borough Hall, that one of those things that those bipartisan relationships have caused is a level of collegiality where I don't want to help someone that's running against a guy that I have lunch with every Tuesday. You see that especially in the judiciary, but even up in Albany, I'm sure you could speak to some extent in your race. So as long as the elected officials continue to control the party, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Not changing at all. So, I would have to agree with you on that. So, that's just, kind of my feeling. And I think that primaries are a good thing. And if there's an opportunity to primary somebody and you want to do it, especially in a citywide race, because citywide races are 8-1. So I think if...
and state races may soon be 6-1.
Oh, my God. So
you could afford that, right?
Just to give you a number, if as a candidate for a city race, I think if you raise $18,000, $14,000 or $18,000, the city in matching funds will give you $144,000 free money.
Yeah, well, It's not free. Sam Pirozzolo is paying,
for the candidate, it's free money.
Exactly.
And, the conversations that could be had with $144,000 is tremendous. And I do want more people to jump into primaries and take advantage of that, because we need to have
and general elections. There's nothing wrong with having competitive general elections.
Well, that's taboo as a Republican on Staten Island.
And as a Democrat.
And
as a Democrat. You don't let the Democrats off the hook. They're just as willing to...
True, but I'm not a Democrat.
Exactly. Give folks a pass. But I think the interesting thing about the matching fund system, we just experienced with the election for public advocate, the first election with 8-1 matching funds, and there were 17 candidates. And I think that was a great thing. But one of the reasons there were 17 candidates is not just the matching funds formula, it's because it was a nonpartisan election. Wouldn't it be great if every election was a nonpartisan election and you got to put your record out there?
Well, the only problem we have with that is the only people who could change that are the people who are elected in office, and they're not going to change that. Right?
That's one of the big disappointments of the Charter Revision Commission, is that they have the ability to change that, at least locally, and make every election nonpartisan in New York City, and it looks like they're not going to do that. So I'd love to see a petition drive, a nonpartisan petition drive, to say, let's make every election nonpartisan. Because one of the things that you see in primaries is occasionally a candidate emerges as the winner who is maybe not necessarily representative of the district as a whole. We've spoken previously about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I suspect if that was a nonpartisan election that anybody could have voted in, Joe Crowley and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you may have seen a different
They
result.
both would have lost.
Well, I don't know in that district. That's a pretty progressive district, but not that progressive as a whole.
All right. So thank you very much for your opinion on that. I'm sure we'll think of another topic and we'll do another Right Bite segment. So let me say goodbye for now. My name is Sam Pirozzolo with Frank Morano talking about politics on Staten Island. Have a good day.